minimum capital requirement. That story is on page 92 of the Daily Graphic.
Well, congratulations, Republic Bank. 400 million is no easy feat. Now let's go straight to the Ghanaian Times this morning. The Ghanaian Times report here that 1938 to 2018, Kofi Annan, former UN General Secretary, the story is reporting the passing away of the former UN Secretary General. Now let's also take a look at another story here. President World Leaders mourn Kofi Annan. Full story is also on page 16. And farm labourer gets 12 months for under free SHS program. Full story on page 15. And finally, 5 perish in fire outbreak.
Puts his private driver
sympathies. Sad. Well,
telling the Volta NDC, and that story is
okay. Now let's take a look at the Economy Times. Roadmap to ease cost of doing business developed. MOTI, of course, that's the Ministry of Trade and Industry, and also government rigs in 300 mining. Now, roadmap to ease cost of doing business. People actually want to see, and that's also another story that we have here on the front page.
Ensures irreversibility through recart of accounts. Limit ambulance service to get funding from Insurance Commission. That's coming from the NHIS. Banking crisis. Closed door parliamentary probe insulting. That's coming from Franklin. Parliamentary probe is insulting. And over a dozen banks yet to meet the 400 million Ghana cedi capital, minimum capital. And finally, tell my critics that God is good. That's coming from he's telling his ICGC members.
Okay. 32 and the hashtag
Breakfast Daily on all social media handles. Okay,
now we have been joined in the studio by Pius Hajide, formerly of the Sports Ministry, but now Deputy Minister Designate for the Information Ministry. Good morning, welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Good morning, my brother, and thanks for having me.
So now well, thanks for coming once again. Now there's no concern much with the youth aspect. You know, initially we used to introduce you as Deputy Sports Minister, but you insisted on the youth. But now that won't be a concern anymore. As you're moving to the Information Ministry, is this something you're looking forward to?
Well, I actually have moved into the Information Ministry already. You would notice that mine is virtually a swap. I do not need to undergo the vetting process, so the question of designate does not arise. In the case of my boss, it is an elevation from deputy minister to substantive minister, so he has to go through the process.
Yes, sure.
So I'm actually coming from the office at the Ministry of Information. We are at work already because, like His Excellency the President has indicated, we are in a hurry, and so that is what it is. But just before my senior brother comes in, the thing about the road maps, I think it's rather a beautiful concept that we must encourage, and we must get people to understand that development is a process. What people are interested in is seeing that some action is going on and there is a clear plan to move us from where we are now to where we desire to be, and that's all that the roadmap is about. I mean, in the case of the illegal mining, there is no magic wand that anybody can just flag like this.
But there's no roadmap yet.
There is a clear roadmap. It was announced. I moderated the program with my
that there will be a roadmap.
There is a roadmap which hopefully should lead to the lifting of the ban. Is the roadmap towards the lifting of the ban. Clearly, the next week the minister will make a few announcements. Those were announced. After that, things will be done. We have arranged a roadmap from now till when the ban will be lifted. And again, on the one of making business in Ghana easier, there is also
cost of doing business in Ghana.
There is also a clear road, and we can, when time allows us, we can get into the details. But I think that we must commend government for showing to the people of Ghana that there is a clear plan and there is a commitment to follow through on those plans.
Okay, I'm reading a report from 5 days ago. Says small-scale mining government schedules August 16 to announce roadmap on small-scale mining. Okay, so there is the roadmap.
So we have done that already.
Just a confirmation.
And we've also been joined. Thank you, Pius. We've also been joined by Ade Kuka, who is the NDC chairman, Greater Accra Region. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
By His grace.
Chairman Ade, you're standing again.
Definitely.
and how are the grounds looking?
Well, they look. Let me say good morning first to yourselves, my brother. Yeah. And then to the viewers and also to the NDC fraternity, who I'm sure this morning people watching your station. It's been good. God is great, as Pastor Otabo will say.
Yes.
Once God is great, God is great.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
So we'll just delve into the first story, which is the passing of Kofi Annan.
Busumuru.
We've had everybody from Obama to our own president share memories of him. We just want to hear your words.
Well, thank you very much, my dear sister. News broke of the death of one of Ghana's illustrious sons, all surprised. True to his nature, His Excellency the President placed a call to the family of Mr. Annan, spoke to the wife, the widow as it is now, and got confirmation that this unfortunate development had occurred in Bern in Switzerland. And the President issued a statement to express his own condolences and the condolences of the government and people of Ghana. And not only that, the President also issued firm instructions that flags must fly from today at half-mast for a week in his honor. And I am also well aware that government is in discussions with the family about the funeral and interment processes, and in due course an announcement will be made to that. I can also confirm to you that hopefully on Wednesday books of condolences will be opened by the government, consultation of the family here in Ghana and across all our diplomatic missions abroad. Mr. Kofi Annan is a monumental figure, an able ambassador and representative he was. And it is important that those of us who today have our time should emulate his extraordinary examples of humility, service to mankind, understanding that you are put in leadership to serve the people, and we must all aspire to emulate clear examples that I find in some of the stalwarts of our time, Busumuru, Kofi Annan, Excellency President Nado, and so on and so forth, about servanthood leadership, and that we are in positions of responsibility for and on the past. So I think that we must emulate his good examples at this point. Again, I think that we must honor and celebrate him. The way to do that, already we have the Kofi Annan training center. and so on and so forth. But we must have a discussion about how to immortalize the outstanding and classic examples that the good man Kofi Annan set for us. So our thoughts are with the family, with the wife and children. Our thoughts are with the world. It's also encouraging if you see the outpour of tributes and love from world leaders, both present and past. I've heard the Barack Obamas, I've heard the Bill Clintons. They all have spoken, and Kofi Annan has done something good today. If you Googled, you would find Ghana in most of the major portals. He's been a good selling point. He's been a good ambassador, and I think that, unfortunate as his death is, we must find a way to take advantage of it. In his life, you know, during the United Nations, one of the turbulent times in the history of the UN, but his calm demeanor, he was able to navigate those muddy waters. Iraq war, in fact, the September 11 bombings occurred when he was Secretary General, and so the Iraq war, he was at the helm of turbulent times, but through tact, through diplomacy, through the calm demeanor, he was able to navigate that. Even after Secretary General, you know, he chaired. Nelson Mandela had something they used to call the elders. They gathered all distinguished statesmen from Africa, I'm sure along our cultural concepts of how our village elders are supposed to guide us. At a point, he was chair of the elders, and the elders was a very important and influential grouping within the African and world geopolitics. And so he is a well-established man, and I think that he deserves all that he's getting, all the love that we are showing for. We will miss him, and we wish that he finds repose in the bosom of the good Lord.
Thank you.
Chairman.
Yes.
From Kofi Annan.
Kofi Annan. He was Ghanaian par excellence. Very much so. You remember, if you can recall, Robert Gardner, Sechi, Amwa Sechi. Those were the trailblazers for Ghana diplomacy. After we had independence, Kwame Nkrumah put up a few Ghanaians, very young, energetic Ghanaians, send them abroad, train them, and put them to the diplomatic missions. And Kofi Annan, we say, came from that stock of excellence, Ghanaian diplomatic excellence. And he has paid his dues. He has put Ghana where many of us will find it difficult to do, the way manner we are doing our politics at the moment. Kofi Annan was above the Ghanaian politics. At a certain stage, people were even asking him to become the president of Ghana. After he left the United Nations, there were a lot of moves to bring, because of his demeanor, the way a man he always settles issues. And my brother rightly said, during the Iraqi war, the Americans went over his head and took certain decisions, and he did not acquiesce. He came out and told them, look, the evidence you are producing is not the right evidence that will enable you to go to war. Because of that, after the Americans tried as much as possible to get him out of the United Nations, because of the singular act of being honest, sincere, and truthful. And these are characters that Ghanaians growing up should emulate. That we must portray the Ghanaians in us, that we are a country, a people who believe in peaceful coexistence. And that is what he took to the United Nations. His death, as you really said, the whole world has been mourning him. Every part of the world, go to Asia, Middle East, Africa, Europe, the Americas, everybody is. And I mean, the last time a UN secretary died, Doug, what's the name? A very long name. He had an accident, you know, he died. The tribute that was given to, it's not like what Kofi Annan
is receiving.
Definitely. It shows that he has really played a very, very vital role in the world, not in Ghana alone, but in the world. And we need to really appreciate him. And I believe that we shouldn't let him be buried in Switzerland. We should bring him here to this country so that part of our culture, part of our history, you know, great men all over the world are celebrated. In this country, we are yet to have a monument somewhere that people will to ask questions. Who is this gentleman? What did he do? What can we learn from him? We need to establish. Asumdue Park was supposed to be used for something like that. Unfortunately, all of us have gone to sleep on it. I don't know where we are going to bury him. Whether we bury him at the New Burma Camp cemetery, or we have to create somewhere that future leader. We have a lot of leaders living today. Definitely, they will not live forever. And if we start burying them in different places, we defeat the whole concept of eulogizing our great leaders. So I believe that the country must think about this. How are we going to make sure that generations yet unborn, when they come, they can. Pius here is doing a very good job. In future, you never know where it's going to end. Maybe one of the best diplomats in this country, outside somewhere, and then when Pius passes away, we don't even remember him. After 1 week celebration and after 40 days, we all, can you tell me, since we buried Emisata, have you heard anybody mention his name? Have you? No. I mean, 1 year, 2 years, forget about him. If we are, today we are sitting 40, 50 days, and we forget about it. That is what we should stop doing. We should really, really, really think about these things. A lot of our legends have died, and after a few days we forget about them because we put them in cemeteries where everybody is buried there. So we forget that we should ask the children to pay pilgrimage to these places and find out their lifestyle, what did they do, all those kind of things. As a nation, we need to start discussing these issues. We don't have to wait after the person dies. We come and say all manner of things. Yeah,
I mean, it's a solid point that we shouldn't necessarily wait for a person to die before we, give accolades or even make monuments in respect to the person. Now, there are calls for instance, the Kumasi airport, to be named after Kofi Annan. Do you think this is a good call?
Well, something that will constantly remind us of him. You know, you go to the United States, they're great leaders. They are monuments. That's what I say. We must,
like JFK.
JF Kennedy, all
Martin Luther
King, they are celebrated. And we have to do something,
Okay.
Pius, must we wait for our great men to die before we honor them in this manner?
No, we mustn't. But even when they die, we must honor them. Even if we had honored them in their lives. Posthumous honors are all over the world more profound. People regard them as the last respects and so on and so forth. But Mr. Kofi Annan, to be fair, has been somewhat celebrated even in his life. And I spoke to the fact that we have the Kofi Annan Peace Training Institute. I think that we should have a conversation about how we can honor Kofi Annan. My senior colleague is absolutely spot on when he speaks about his diplomatic credentials And I think that one of the best ways, if the conversation were to start already about how we should honor him, would be how to model a training along those lines, so that we can get people to take after institute on diplomacy, because we are going to be here for a long time as a country. Some of us will pass, but Ghana will live, and we will continue to need diplomats and have diplomatic missions across the world. We will need diplomats the caliber of Kofi Annan. So I think that the training institute dedicated towards international diplomacy and so on will not be a bad idea. There's one character of his that I admire. It's been argued that the man has stayed out of Ghana for maybe the longest part of his life, but he has kept his Ghanaian accent.
I was having that argument with Jafar earlier about the issue of his accent.
That we highlight that because it speaks to the issue of our national identity, which is critical. We cannot be lost in this global world that we find ourselves in. We have to have our distinct identity, and we have to keep it. If we do not highlight those trends and we make it more fashionable, and guys in the media, you must help us. Now you speak to I have been monitoring, I've been monitoring, been worried about the penchant of our presenters to want to sound like CNN and BBC. I mean, it is good to be Ghanaian. God put you here for a good purpose, and we cannot shy away from it. And even how we dress, our language, and so on and so forth. I've been accused of having a lot of away in my English. I don't mind. I'd like people to hear my name and know that I'm away and that I'm Ghanaian.
And in your accent.
And in my accent. The last time you said a Mary in a very beautiful, fancy way. Then straight ahead, without telling me, I knew already that you're fancy. And it's good. So we should not, I think we should highlight that part also.
Okay, Chairman, speaking of learning from Kofi Annan, you said he was beyond Ghanaian politics. What can our current crop of political leaders learn from him?
Unfortunately, we are not learning, and I don't think we are ever going to learn. Like I said, within 40, 50 days' time,
because this is a country where we constantly talk about great man who didn't do any of that.
Yeah. You see, the current generation, or those who are coming, it's when we were in school, I keep referring to my age group, right? We had respect for authority. We had respect for institutions. The past 30, 40 years has put us in a way that we have lost those values. Go to social media. What do you see there? You don't see people doing actual issue-based argument. Insult. Are we going to stop that? You know, and that is where we start from. If in the morning, you wake up in the morning and you spend about 3-4 hours just going at all the portals and insulting people left, right, go to Ghana Web. Go to Ghana Web.
Okay, we will.
I would not want us to be specific about certain.
We will continue the conversation. We do have to take a quick break. Yes, thank you so much for joining us. This is Breakfast Daily. We were discussing the passing of a perfect gentleman, Ghana's finest gem, Kofi Annan. We will take a quick break. Remember to join me.
I think he wants to clarify that he's not saying Ghana Web.
I'm not talking about the Ghana Web. I'm saying people
on Ghanaian
websites. Exactly.
Okay, fantastic.
Not the Ghana Webs, but the comments that people make on issues. Instead of I said,
but we just have to go on a quick break, then we continue, please. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
evening. This is The Point of View. We're live on CTT.
Mondays and Wednesdays at 9 p.m. as Bernard Avlet takes the news further. He will bring the right guest, ask insights you need on the big stories.
We need taxes to run the economy. How do you do it sensibly and have the least of cascading through the economy? And I think that is the thinking that is required. It's not a denial that we need taxes, and I think that is the difference in the two administrations.
The Point of View with Bernard Avlet, Monday and Wednesday nights, only on CTTV.
So another day, another week. We'll be talking about all the trending conversations.
Spend 30 minutes every weekday of the day. If you tweet it, Skype you.
Shatta, why are you being so raw and hard like that? But at the particular time, that's what I want. That's what I want. We can still meet again and Shatta, this time we are about to do. Don't come and do that nonsense. Okay, please, I won't do it. And we'll give respect to each other. But sometimes I feel, when we are all humans. When somebody says something about me, Shatta, hey, no, I might want to say something.
Yeah.
So, but when I say taking things, personal, and I really want to work on it.
30 minutes is all it takes, so use the hashtag attention. Join the most interesting on City TV.
Welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily on CTTV. Thank you so much for discussing the passing of one of Ghana's finest gentlemen, Mr. Kofi Annan. He won a Nobel Peace Prize. He was the UN Secretary General and was just celebrated all across the world.
Yeah. Now, we are come to talk a bit about the banking industry. So may his soul rest in perfect peace, Kofi Annan. Yeah. And we just have to wish our greatest condolences, or heartfelt condolences goes out to the family of Kofi Annan. Now let's talk about the banking industry and the fact that there's going to be a secret parliamentary hearing on the collapsed banks. And Kingsley Hayford, for instance, says it's regrettable, and not forgetting the Imani Ghana are also saying that it is actually very, very insulting. So
but before you even get into that, let me read a bunch of messages that we've received from you. We received them over the break. Jomo from Pokwase says, losing the likes of Kofi Annan is a big blow to Ghana, Africa. My only worry is most great Ghanaians fail to write books for the next generation of unborn Ghanaians to learn from. As we mourn and celebrate the life of this illustrious son of, admonish our books, else our history will one day end up being distorted. And I completely agree with you. I grew up reading Congo, My Country, Africa Must Unite, a lot of books written by some of our fallen heroes. And Jonathan from Teshi says, a person like Kofi Annan makes me proud to be a Ghanaian. May his soul rest in peace.
Writing books depend on whether in our schools we are still doing literature. So when I went to school, we did literature. This is going to look at the curriculum. I'm sure we stop literature. You see, that will encourage you to write.
True. But to be fair, a lot of the books I read growing up, I mean, we can mention Sheikh Anta Diop, we can talk about Ngugi wa Thiong'o. I didn't find them in my areas where you could find these African books in Harlem, for example, where you can find all these African books. But we don't have a lot of that in Ghana, and that's beyond the school.
I said earlier on, because we don't keep monuments. In those most countries, you know, they have museums, and they make sure that these are centers that will let you remember what has happened before you were born. Why is Ghana Library now? I'm sure when you go there, you find them selling Kelule.
Okay, let's move on.
Let's move on to the banking story. So like we were saying earlier, Casely Hayford has actually criticized the secret parliamentary hearing on the collapsed banks, and also president of policy think tank Imani Africa, Franklin Cudjoe, has also called this move insulting. So this is a response to, for instance, Ato Forson trying to justify the in-camera hearing of this particular issue. So Ato Forson is quoted as saying, I'm reading from citynewsroom.com, he is quoted as saying, we come to the conclusion that considering what we call the sensitivity of the matter, Parliament Committee of Finance will meet in camera to look at this matter. It's important for the people appearing before the committee to be at ease to give Ato Forson is saying. But then Franklin could an opinion. He says, unless they have some extra curricular, extra spiritual, extra powers to determine what has actually happened, they should not go and have something in camera and say that because there is fear that the banking crisis will lead to further loss of confidence in the banking sector. So there's been a general criticism of the decision of the select committee, or sorry, of the finance committee, which is a standing committee, of the finance committee to hold this particular meeting in camera. I'll take your opinions on it.
Thank you, my brother. I'm rather surprised at the reactions. First of all, I think that we must commend the finance committee, Honorable Dr. Mark Isibeyeboa, to get the committee to a parliamentary, at least at the committee level for now, inquiry into the matter, and have the management of the BOG and related allied service providers who may be connected to come and speak to this issue. I think that we first of all must commend them. I am also at a loss as to why it is being described as secret. Parliament has, like they say, it's master of its own rules, and they have been holding in-camera sessions. Even the House of Whole can actually have in-camera sittings. Most committee work that has been done by the finance committee have actually been held in camera, and they have done a good job. It is part of the processes available for them to use. I would have even voted that this matter be held in camera because of the sensitivity of the environment. Look, financial sectors can collapse within hours. I mean, we know what can happen. There can be a major crisis on our hands if there is a slight misunderstanding or the smallest of slips. I mean, stocks can go down, would rush to the banks, they would want to take their deposits and all that. Maybe
it's as if to suggest that the people are not discerning enough to understand. The people of Ghana are not discerning enough to understand.
That's not what
it's actually going on.
That is not what it is about. It is not what it is about. And otherwise, you'll be suggesting that to want to even design that in our way of doing things, there can be in-camera sessions, was even an arrangement meant to insult the intelligence of the people of Ghana. No. In setting up the arrangements years back and all over the world, these in-camera hearings happen. The arrangements are not because people do not believe in the intelligence of the populace. It's just because some informations must be packaged in such a way that we do not create chaos at a certain point. And so it is not about the intelligence of people. for me, we must also have, look, we spend, forget even about the money, but let me just say, we spend a lot of money on parliament. We elect people we have to trust. And so we cannot,
the people of Ghana spending this money.
Absolutely.
The same people of Ghana are being denied the right to this information.
They are not being denied. The people have elected people they trust to hold their power, in trust for them. And so we can and should allow Parliament to do their work. If there was no need for Parliament, we will not. And so until and unless certain work cannot go on, for me is most unfair. This
is a matter that every Ghanaian is interested in.
My brother, every matter, including our national security matters, are matters that must concern every Ghanaian. But there has still to be some in-camera sessions. And I'm saying to you that, in my view, the financial sector matter is of such a sensitive nature that when Parliament wants to interrogate it at first, and they say, let us hear the full and complete story in camera, I don't have any problem about that. It does not mean that there cannot be any public engagements. The Bank of Ghana has been making public statements, they have been engaging, but I'm saying that the Parliament, the committee is now engaging with BOG for the first time. And we have to create a circumstance or situation within which Bank of Ghana can come out completely with the full facts, no matter how ugly they may be. They need to be assured that we are in a setting we can talk frankly and freely. And I think that we opened it up too much. I think people be diplomatic. People who want to be I'm even lost for words, but I know that the best for me as a first point of call, it is a good thing that the committee is wanting to engage the BOG. Let us allow them to have the session. In any case, information that we receive should be relevant. We are not hearing information just for hearing's sake. We hear information so we can take action on those information. And so if the institutions that are properly mandated, they have the authority to take the necessary actions to remedy those, we should channel those informations there. Regrettably, if those informations come to me and I'm unable to do anything about them, why? We just feel that, you see, and I love civil society engagement and all that, but we must allow our institutions to work and not think that if we are not part of a process, the process is flawed and is wrong. I think it will be unfair to those institutions.
Thank you, Chairman.
I beg to differ strongly. What's in the banking sector is known to everybody. What are they going to investigate? Pin secret. They've made misused funds. Interventions that Bank of Ghana made to direct banks were diverted to other. So what again are they going to investigate? That we are going to investigate behind closed. You know, they've done things that by now, in any other jurisdiction, they've been hauled to the courts. Behind closed doors. People are chasing their money in the banks. People have used money to buy assets that they cannot liquidate. Shareholders took their own money from the banks and then went further to take money. And what are they going to investigate?
To be fair, on the issue of depositors, they are quite secured at this point.
Whatever it is, whether they are secured or not, I can tell you behind.
At least former employees, we know.
No, I know client. I'll discuss something with you off camera.
Okay. You see, discuss it off camera.
No, that's not. I think the point. The point we're national issue.
It's a personal issue. You understand?
They cannot be a personal issue in this matter.
No. This is my.
So him and his personal issue.
Talking about where you are talking about the national issue, where the banks evidence. There's ample evidence to indicate what some of the directors did. They have to come and explain to us, the public, so that we have confidence in the system that this will not happen again. So going to is fine, and I agree with what we want, the trust that the Ghanaian people, the common person there, reposed in them. That is what we have to talk about. This is not the first time that scams have taken place in this country, and they get out. DKM, they've gotten away scot-free. Away scot-free. What don't we know in this country that we are not going to investigate? That we crack the whip. We don't crack the whip because somehow, if somebody from Nima goes to steal a goat, they'll give that person 12, 25 years imprisonment. Those who have done what they've done are working scot-free. They are poor. Well, the man will go through their I'm just telling you. I'm just making me that they send a report to Yoko. Kind of stories, right? They are working free. They are sleeping in their posh houses. They are there, and they come and tell us that executive and God is great. God is great. God is great. I mean, what kind of? I mean, we are using our intelligence, and we are happy about it. And the newspaper, we publish it. God is great. God is great. God is great. And people go to the congregations. They keep clapping. They are happy. It's you. But now you. All these things that that is all that. At the end of the day, what report is going to come out? What report? Would that report, if it comes out, if there's going to be a run on the banks, definitely there will be a run on the banks. If it has to. That's how we are.
That's a good point.
No,
because it seems.
We need to. No. You see, you see, when you're in government and you are in charge of handling things, you do not take some of these things lightly. We cannot be seen to be encouraging a run on the banks. That's a disaster we cannot go through. And I'm saying to you that, you see, in our context, and let's be fair, here finds an information relevant to this matter, important that he wants to share with you.
No, his own.
We were discussing this bank matter, and Ben, let's be frank on that. Are sensitive. The populism may be matter. This matter, Mr. the Cook, information relevant to this matter.
No. He's not on trial. No. This is Bank of Ghana. We're talking about directors who have taken monies from us, and we deserve
again. We need clarity.
Yes,
we need clarity.
He's not on trial.
You need clarity. I'm just using to illustrate that. You see, even him, at a certain point, he comes to a judgment that the matter is but again, you must have clarity that we are not talking about directors, the new management of the Bank of Ghana. If he's talking about directors, you are talking about directors of those banks.
No, thank you very much, Pius.
Mr. We need to move on.
When he was talking, he picked on Mr. Dufo and Coast Bank, you mean?
Pius, thank you very much. We are moving on to
what's the next topic
of education. Whenever saying they will build 8 pavilions. Thank you very much. Pavilions to absorb double track graduates, and according to this story, Reverend Professor Afo Broni, acting Vice Chancellor of the University of Education, Winneba, has revealed that designs have been completed. So I think we'll start with you.
achieve the vision that His Excellency has to the secondary level. We have looked at the development history of countries, the Americas, the Japans, and so on and so forth. And it is clear that education holds the key. We will not wait. We have been independent for over 60 years. We have not finished building the school blocks, the dormitories. We will never finish building them. We will continue to build them. As a government, we are even building at a faster pace. We will continue to do that. But in the meantime, in our day, in our time, when His Excellency Nana Addo is president, we have to make sure that the over 400,000 kids who are able and willing to go to secondary school, go to secondary school. We have identified financial barrier as a major constraint to attaining secondary education. And we have removed that, and we have removed it promptly and on time. It's happening now. We are not doing anything progressive and keeping some people away from education and keeping them in the house. We are making sure that everybody attends secondary education. That will have implications for admittance to tertiary institutions such as the University of Education in Winneba. And I want to commend the Vice Chancellor of the UEW for being proactive, anticipating that there will be a spillover. There are more students in secondary school now. That's the good news. Definitely there will be more students subsequently in the tertiary institutions. And tertiary institutions must begin to make plans, again, creatively. This is a government that is at work. It's a thinking government that is in the business of solving problems. And we have brought the double track. The double track will assure us that even as we continue to build the infrastructure that we so lack as a country, even as we are that, we are also able to ensure that no Ghanaian child is left at home, not going to school on the back of a flimsy excuse that we have not built enough schools, and so on and so forth.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Once again, I like the propaganda of my very good friend here.
No, it's just information.
It's information, propaganda. No. Oh, I see. I mean, we flogged since this SHS, free SHS mantra has been going on. People warned, well-meaning people warned that let's hasten slowly. And I don't know the day we wouldn't get to where we are today. Fast track. The next step, faster track. Because when the third stream of students come on board, we now have to have another track. I don't know, I've seen some tracks here. I've seen 2 here. Maybe you come and add 1 here to make it 3. You know.
So it's just 2.
Yes, it's just 2 now. The next time we come here, maybe we don't have another track.
So if you would, the double track system may be increased to maybe a triple track.
No, it cannot happen.
Yeah, well,
we have announced our policy already. Let's not reinvent it.
You see, I mean, we have announced our policy. You know, you earlier on, you were talking about what?
Roadmap.
Yes.
In Ghana, we have so many roadmaps. Are we able to accomplish them?
We are. The NDC is not. We are.
But
you just started.
Pius,
it's been less than 2 years.
As I've been in this country at least many years before you were born. So I know what I'm talking about.
Yes, that's what I said.
You understand? Look, let us hasten slowly.
No.
That is why we have vocational schools. You see, that is why we have other to absorb those who are. It's not everybody that must go to a secondary school. That's why the framers of the Constitution, before we started participating, because they have lived it. So we have to expand the economy in such a way that we'll be able to afford certain things that we cannot afford. Technical schools, vocational schools, etc., etc. So the secondary schools, that's as it is, we can be able to churn out students of quality, not quantity.
But Chairman,
you see, let
Chairman finish. You come in really briefly.
I just want to say that part of the free SHS.
Yes,
are you sure?
Yes, they
go
are.
And find out. We stay on TV and go and find out.
No, I'm the Minister of
Deputy Information Minister. So we have to accept this word.
Yes.
Politicians. No, it's actually what?
Is it the Deputy Information Minister? So
politicians. What? Hey, you want us to accept everything that comes on the mouth of a politician?
At least we can say that that's the position of government.
All public, secondary, technical, vocational institutions are part of the free
some private schools as well.
I see.
Okay. Chairman.
I see.
Okay. So can we wrap you up on that point?
So what I'm saying is that let us hasten slowly. Let us listen to other views. Because if a child comes to sit in the house for 41 days, by the time he goes back, you see, I saw some propaganda from Ashanti region where the students were, maybe fear, I'll go and help my mother to sell them in the market. You will stay in the market.
Okay.
Other institutions that you are, other countries, they have public libraries. They've got that will engage the mind of the child when he sits in the house. When we were growing up, at our age, when we come from school, we go to public libraries and go and continue our education. Tell me your constituency, public library.
That is why we are saying that.
You a question.
It was actually a yes.
You see, we are creating. Please,
say that is why. He just wants a yes or no.
Have you got a public library?
Not now, no.
So,
but we will build one. There's a 15 million holiday intervention program that is running alongside.
Thank you very much.
That's why we need to build the libraries.
Are you going to build the libraries in all the, even your 1D, 1F, you are not taking factories that are already in existence to polish them and say you've done 1D, 1F.
Well, at least I didn't have a library in my village, but because of education, I'm here today. I'd rather that there was no library, but the people still go to school.
That time,
I'd rather that there were no libraries and people still go to school.
Okay.
Thank you.
The structures were in such a way that you were able
this is just a few days ago.
You were able to afford it.
This is just a few days ago.
Okay.
I'm saying to you.
Thank you very much. The Deputy Information Minister, and of course Adeko Kara, who is the NDC Chairman, Greater Accra Region. He's also in campaign mode right now.
What I got from the Deputy Information Minister is that, some information we shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Which is true that some information we shouldn't have. I feel the banking sector, information affecting everyone, we should be more concerned. And I think the Deputy Information Minister should rather be encouraging Ghanaians to get this information.
Thank you both. Breakfast Daily continues. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
It's engaging, loaded with factual and incisive analysis. It's The Big Issue, your preferred Saturday morning news and current affairs analysis program on City TV. Tune in this and every Saturday at 9.
We behave like hypocrites. At that time, she was a perfect person.
Salam Adonu on City TV. 9 a.m.
Good evening. This is The Point of View. We're live on City TV.
Tune in to The Point of View Mondays and Wednesdays at 9 p.m. as Bernard Avlet takes. Bring the right guest, ask them the relevant questions, and get you the real insights you need on the big stories for the day.
We need taxes to run the economy. How do you do it sensibly and have the least pernicious effect in terms of cascade in the two administrations?
Bernard Avlet, Monday and Wednesday nights.
Excited, and we will be talking about all the trending conversations.
Today, catching up with all the trending social media conversations of the day. If you tweet it, we'll read it. We might just even Skype you.
Why are you being so raw and hard like that? But at the particular time, that's what I want. That's how I wanted to do it. But that doesn't mean you are my enemy. We can still meet again and shut up. This time we are about to do. Don't come and do that nonsense. Okay, please, I won't do it. And we'll give respect to each other. But sometimes I feel, when we are all humans. When somebody says something about me, shut up. No. I might want to say something. So, but when I say people shouldn't take it like taking things, personal and stuff. I've understood showbiz now, and I really want to work on it.
30 minutes is all it takes. 5 p.m. only on City TV.
All day, all the time. Politics, sports, entertainment, business, and more. 2020 News. We bring you the world in 20 minutes.
And that's all the news in 20 minutes.
You've got times and seasons in your hands. You call for light out of darkness. You don't need a man to be the God you are, but through you've called us your own. You've got times and seasons in your hands. You call for light out of darkness. You don't need a man to be the God you are, but through your mercy you've called me your own. I say you are God from beginning till the end. There's no place for argument. You are God all by yourself. You are God from the beginning to the end. There's no place for argument. You are God all by yourself. You are God from beginning to the end. There's no place for argument. You are God. I sing blessing is my name. Favor is my name. And victory is my name. I'm for signs and wonders. Blessing is my name. Fame and victory. I'm for signs and wonders. Oh, I'm for signs and wonders. I'm for signs and wonders. Oh, I'm for signs and wonders. Oh, God. Oh, for signs and wonders. Blessed is your name. Favor is your name, and victory is your name. You are for signs and wonders. I say blessed is your name. Favor is your name. Wherever you are, just for signs and wonders. Oh, you are for signs and wonders. Oh, you are for signs of defeat. Every garment of disgrace, every garment of sorrow, take it away from me, Lord. Every garment of defeat, every garment of disgrace, of sorrow, take it away from me, Lord. Oh, take it away from me, Lord. Oh, take it away from me, Lord. From me, Lord. For signs and wonders, I'm for signs and wonders. Oh, I'm for signs and wonders. No matter what you're going through, just say, I'm for signs and wonders. I'm for signs and wonders. When all hope is gone, you don't know what to do. Say, I'm for signs and wonders. When the world turns back against you, say, I'm for signs and wonders. Oh, I'm for signs and wonders. When you don't know what you do, say, I'm for signs and wonders. When nothing seems impossible, I'm for signs and wonders. Oh, I'm for signs and wonders. And you made a standing here only because you made, you move mountains, you cause walls to fall, reach your power, you perform miracles. There is nothing, my Lord, that's impossible, and we're standing here only because you made, and we are standing here only because you made a way.
Hey family, my name is Joe Metal and you're watching Breakfast Daily on City TV. Keep watching, don't go nowhere.
I know about that photo. So yeah, this is Kwesiata and you're watching Breakfast Daily. Round up to the top. Oh yeah.
My name is Juliet Yahasantwa Asante. Keep watching Breakfast Daily on City TV.
Ego Chef. What's up, guys? Your boy Daily. Oh, Lord of mercy. Let's go.
Morning world, you're in tune to the Breakfast Daily on City TV. Don't log off. Beep.
Spend 30 minutes every weekday catching up with all the trending social media conversations of the day. If you tweet it, we'll no matter your situation. World Cup meet. 30 minutes is all it takes social media to catch our attention. CTV.
This is Breakfast Daily, and by I'll tell you about the artist. I mean, we discussed him earlier. Away indeed, we've been celebrating Ghana, and today we're joined by a group of really talented people who are at the festival. Our performance artist. We're going to learn more about her, Effie, and one of the organizers.
So how do they move beyond that? Now it has actually developed to a very large institution. I would say we have artists coming from all over the world to, and we have like last year we have like 30,000 people coming. So like it's really huge. Wow. You know, yeah.
Okay, so ladies, let's start with this weekend.
Okay, so I'm an actress, writer, yoga teacher, voiceover artist, and hobby DJ. I found out about Charlie Water. There was a group a couple of years ago, but they're just a little bit older, who came as Joburg Massive. I don't know if you remember them. So that's the first time I found out about the festival, and I'm just always interested in Africa, you know, traveling in Africa, not so much the Europe. So I would go, but if I'm spending my own money, I just want to find out more about what's happening with other Africans. So I was here in end of March, beginning of April. Gender and LGBT I fell in love with the country for the festival because I wanted to turn it into an experience.
So you were just here to film the entire experience?
I was going to film my performance. And
your performance. Tell us about your performance.
Yeah. So my performance is called Mojaji the Rain. Mojaji is my tribe calling. It's called Isithakazelo Zulu, which is a language in South Africa, African language in South Africa, which is basically just like a clan name. Okay. So I'm descendant of the Rain Queen Mojaji. Wow. And I think it's been plaguing me for a couple of years what to do with it, you know. So in a space where I was like, I'm a female, black female, and the issues that come with that. I'm a black female who's connected to my ancestors, and I won't say the issues, but the confusion that comes with that, and the gifts that come with that, and just understanding that also as Africans we kind of feel disconnected because we're special. We are special. There's certain things about us that I didn't know how to communicate that, you know. And I feel like there's a lot of people who are in that kind of space in their lives generally. The older you get, the more connected to yourself you get. So I think it's a work in progress, but it's an opportunity for me to share with other people where I feel that where I'm at, and I'm hoping somebody else might go, yes, me too. How do I make this accessible for myself also?
Thank you. Regina, tell us about you and how you ended up participating in Chaliwata, and of course what to expect of your performance.
So I came to Chaliwata last year, first time, accidentally, because I came for another occasion here to Accra, a congress, the Akasa Triennial Symposium in Legon University. And then everybody told me, you stay here, there's something very special happening now. And then I stayed, and I was really impressed. I saw many festivals, and yeah, never something like that. So community-based, so diverse. And so I decided to apply for this open call, and I was accepted. And I'm really very happy to be here. It's actually my first time I'm really performing in Africa. Wow. And being a white lady, especially coming from Germany to Ghana, it's delicate. It's a challenge, but it's very interesting, and I'm learning so much. Things like that, and also talking with the people, really understanding the context, because it's different if you're in Germany and research on internet, you can read, but it's not the same being here. And I'm excited to be here. I'm still trying to where I am, and my performance will be all about unity and focusing on the common ground, the common history of colonization we have. You are here learning, you are doing a lot here. In my country, we are not talking about it, we are not educated. But rather than putting my finger to the wound, as we would say in Germany, I would like to emphasize the common ground, the common source and seed where we all come from, which is Africa. Here the first human was born. And I'm inviting women from all 6 women from 5 continents, and we will do like a ritual, remembering that all the continents were one, that the human race is one, and that's the main focus. Yes.
Thank you, Effie. Let us tell us about you and your involvement with the Chaliwata.
Okay, so this is me bringing my conceptual like here. I'd been here for 5 years, and I needed to kind of step out and embrace the things that I believe God was giving me. So I created a piece in New York last year called See What I See. It's a series of, so you can often have a painting or the visual art mediums of paint or picture. In my case, as a choreographer, dancer, I also like to bring in movement. So I have 9 pieces. Each of them are my commentary, blackness, Africanness, the black body in diaspora, our relationship to colonization, which is so interesting that you said that, because I comment a lot on our relationship to colonization and to neo-colonization, because in my mind, colonization came us to diaspora in another way, but then what it is now is entirely different. It's a new machine, and we don't even realize that we are still colonized in many ways. And so my work, each window is a commentary on different aspects on that. So I myself may not be performing, but thank God there are amazing performers in Ghana. So I have about 15 to 20 people who have volunteered in this way. The pieces are also not static. Some of them need participation, invited to make movements or do certain things in conversation with each other and with what they're seeing. And that's basically the root of my work, to get people talking about things or that they've come across but not known how to talk. This is a prompt for discussion, which we need to have as a way of opening up our eyes, our minds to each other and where we are physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So.
Thank you. Now, Kwame, how important, because when you hear Chalawote street art, you know, you're thinking it's just art in the creative space. But as I'm the possibilities.
I think it's quite interesting, your work, and it's one thing that it forces the artist to step beyond the ordinary, the fact that art is about entertainment, but then to question the politics, the religion, and the socio-economic issues that is happening locally and globally, and sort of make commentary on them. So it's very important that even though we are presenting these works, we are also making commentary on stuff that is happening, and that is something that we encourage the audience to sort of come and interact with. And it's not only to look at the entertainment aspect of it, but then to look at all the issues that are being raised and interrogate them. Because if you listen to them speak, all their performances or the stuff that into generative decisions and thoughts, interpretations and all that. So it's not only about the entertainment or the fashion or the fun making of it. Of course, it's also part of the art. But then we have to critically look at all the issues that are being spoken today and sort of interrogate it as a people, and so we can sort of evolve beyond the kind of humanity that we are in now.
Okay, so let me come back to you, because you mentioned African religion, for example, and LGBTQI and the rest. These are topics that some of us don't even discuss in our homes. I mean, we know that it's all around us, but we don't touch on them. And me personally, growing up, every time you see a Nigerian or a Ghanaian movie, it's all about the local religion is bad. To the US, and I see the same things we have in our shrines in museums as knowledge and wisdom, and I'm questioning, these are things I used to run away from, to see them as a work of art. How important is it for us to rethink and the way we perceive these things and ourselves?
I think the ladies actually commented a lot on a little bit, but a lot. It's not so many words, but a lot. Is colonization, and I think a lot of things that we used to do as Africans that are traditional and important to us were almost demonized, so put underneath, and you find a lot of people doing it in secret. So if you want to be in touch with the ancestors, you must do it at night, you must do it so that people can't see, you must do it, you know. And because now we're in the era of people being woke, I think we all just want to do this, you know, because it's that freedom to be yourself that we've all been craving for such a long time. And I remember, because my work is also about like my spiritual journey, and I remember having dreams about stuff where I was just waking up like, oh my God, what the hell is this? I can't remember telling anybody that I dreamt about this, because it's kind of, the performance is about that, like embracing the fact that you've got these gifts and in this way, and actually you can use it to help other people. So it's weird that you're seeing them in museums in other countries, because at the end of the day, sorry, there's an element of entertainment to it, which is like, but then there's also an element of celebrating, which we ourselves are not doing. And then it's like that when people come to Africa to make films about Africans and they're not African, we go, why are people making stuff about us and not us? But we're not doing it. And maybe it's also sometimes because of resources, or because we try and hide, because of colonization, you know, our minds kind of got erased. So we are kind of waking up, which I think is really fantastic.
Thank you. Now, Regina, in a world that's so divided right now with this life matters, that life matters, Trump, you know, it's such division all around, especially on social media. How important is it to use art to bring us all back to what matters most, which is our humanity, right? And what has your personal journey been, just working on this project and being part of Chaliwote?
It's an interesting question, actually, because in the former times I was working as a photojournalist, and I went to Latin America and made my experiences, took my pictures, and then took them back to Germany and saw, this is a colonial thing I'm doing. I'm taking pictures of the poor, beautiful natives, bring them to Germany because I want to show there are people suffering, but it just feeds the cliche, so it doesn't help anything. So I was really going through a deep process and understanding that this is not the medium I want to work with. They are great photojournalists and I appreciate their work, but it's not my way. So I wanted to go under the surface. I discovered performance art, living bodies, and understood I want to work with this, because then you feel it, and it's beyond language and cliche. It's just a body there, and I think it's a very great tool on the one hand, this thing, and on the other side also the collaboration, to come here to Africa and see we work together, then people go over there, so the communication and networking is another fact. But performance art, especially for me, is very, very deep, because I can identify with the body. If there's a body suffering there, I don't care about the skin color, something like that. That's not important. And it's a very ancient art. We always did this, rituals, dancing. I think it's very powerful to connect through art.
Now, Effie, you touched a bit on the diaspora. Every time we hear about the diaspora, we're thinking about remittances and people going, you know, leaving Ghana in all its troubles for greener pastures elsewhere. But through Chaliwote, we're seeing people in the diaspora coming back, right? So beyond Chaliwote, how do we start this movement of brain gain and really show the world that there is something in Ghana that you can get by coming here and nurturing your talents here?
I think that's what makes Chaliwote so revolutionary, is the fact that it's saying there's something here, and this is, you know, we were at most of the Ghanaian artists, and he was saying that, you know, this is for us. We need Ghanaian artists to talk and to make and to do as Ghanaian to those at home who make the work and are probably right now judging my accent and our accents of things.
They judge my accent,
you know, all the time. And it's like, no, I am a Ghanaian, and I know, and I can tell you all the reasons why if you just take away my accent, which is where the body comes in, right? I often say to people, if you'd never heard me speak, but you watch me sit down to a bowl of fufu, or you ask, or you played Fonton Form, and I started doing Adua, you wouldn't question where I was from. But my accent informs a lot. The way I dress informs a lot. And so this is important in terms of your question, because not only it shouldn't just bring people from diaspora to say, hey, I can make work in Ghana, it's an easy way. Actually, no. This is a call for Ghanaians to just say, we can make the work. We have something to say, and say it. And I think that's what's brought so many people, that's drawn people in. I always say, with specificity comes universality. When you are specific about what you want to say, about where you're coming from and what you're doing, it attracts people from everywhere. Intentional about our art. And that goes beyond just the painting and the visual arts, all of it. Let's be intentional about it.
Okay, now Kwame, I was going to ask you to give us a breakdown on what to expect and their performances, but Effie touched on something I think you need to touch on, which is how do you find the grounds between the natives and the diasporas, where it doesn't feel like, oh, all these foreigners are coming to do their random things and then they will leave. You know, how do we make this an inclusive conversation? Because rightly so, some of us, even the accent alone is a piece of art that needs to be discussed, right? Because for me, I went to the US at a very young age. Even the terrible kids used to make fun of us. So you were perceived as dumb if they didn't understand the accent you were using. So some of us were forced to adopt it. But then you come here and you see people who've never left pretending to have an accent because it somehow equates to social status without really appreciating the mental colonization you went through to even acquire this thing that isn't you. So just touch on that, and even the role of local artists in all of this, because I do see a lot of local artists at Charlotte.
Yeah, I accent is quite fascinating. Maybe and on inclusiveness, I think every year what we do is that there's an open call. Artists to apply
and encouraged
to apply, so to speak. And when you apply, it goes to giving special attention to people. That's not it. The whole idea is to sort of include as many as we can local artists in the festival. And you will be marveled when you come to the actual day of the street art festival that you see people within Jamestown who didn't apply, young people, children, incredible. Yes, that true. That's an art.
Yeah,
that's like incredible art happening all over the place. And the idea is to create this space where people, Charlotte is doing basically, and use it, because that's the only thing that we have, and that's what we should come.
It's the first official day.
Today is the first official day, and we're going to have a day of remembering, which starts at 3 p.m. So the day of remembering basically is that Jamestown has very historical relevance. The transatlantic slavery happened, and so we do this to sort of remember the people who were carried through the ocean and all that. So it's very sanctimonious and holiday for us within the festival. And then afterwards there's going to be the Shika Shika at 5 p.m. at Jamestown. We're going to have several artworks that are on sale. Wow. And so you can pass by.
That's the next thing I want to ask, monetization.
Right, yeah. So you can pass by and acquire an art, which is something that we should sort of do as a people. Don't put your monies in the bank. Invest them in the art. It's such a great thing.
Say that again. Say that
again. Don't put your monies in the bank. Invest them in the art. So, and then on Tuesday we're going to have alternative labs, and then the labs are basically activation points where we get to speak with the artists, where you get to that. So there's going to be like film screening, there's going to be workshops, people are going to get the opportunity to do workshops and all that.
So Tuesday is very interactive.
So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are very interactive. Okay. And all these Tuesday, Wednesday, it's going to be at the Folks Place National Theatre.
Okay, Folks Place National Theatre.
Yes, Folks Place National Theatre. And then on Thursday, we'll be at Osu Kokun.
Okay.
And then on Friday, there's going to be a masquerade jam, which is going to be like the prelude into the actual festival.
Where will that be?
It's going to be at the Folks Place National Theatre.
Yes.
And we're going to have lots of Akan.
Just 30 cities for the day of
Saturday and Sunday is the actual day that we experience art.
Nice.
Yes. So
Saturday and Sunday we all come to
Jamestown.
Jamestown.
To Jamestown.
Okay.
Yes.
Is there a place we can find out more information? Something on social media?
Yes. So you can go to our social media pages, Chalawote Festival or Accra.org. And you can also check our website, accra.org.radio.com, and you get all the program lineup and every activity that is happening. But what I will encourage is that we want people to sort of move away from High Street. So the art is going to be displayed at the Ashford, Jamesford, Brazil House, or Tublon. So people should look out for these spaces and move away from
the
High Street.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. I cannot wait to see all of your performances this weekend, but definitely I'll start off today with all the activities that are happening. You don't go anywhere. We're going to learn more about our own musician that we started the show with, Kwame Kwarteng, right after these messages.
And you're watching Breakfast Daily.
Keep watching Breakfast Daily on
Digo Chef. What's up, guys? Your boy Kitty, and right now you are watching Breakfast Daily. Oh, Lord of mercy. Let's go.
Good morning, Ghana. Good Breakfast Daily on City TV. Lock, don't log off. Beep.
Program, there was a wonderful gentleman who was singing. Now his voice was just dragging me from. I'm wondering whether I should do the show. I should right in front of me on Breakfast Daily this morning. Good. How are you?
The Lord is our strength.
Hey. So good morning, Kwame.
Good morning.
How are you?
The Lord is our strength.
You know, usually when you ask people how are you, they will. I'm like, oh, Jifa, how are you? She's like, I'm balling. I'm balling. But this is such a refreshing response.
Sure.
And I love that. Yesterday was a Sunday. And which background? What exactly has your life been like? For instance, school. You know, give me a bit about your history. I want people to know the person behind the voice.
Wow. Okay. Thank you so much. I think as at now, 70% of where I've gotten into was about schooling. Yeah, I just completed the university around 2016. That is University for Development Studies, UDS.
Which campus?
WA campus.
WA campus.
Yeah, that is where I pursued Integrated Community Development Studies. Yeah, and then after that too, I came to do my national service with Agriculture Development Bank, ADB, Tema branch. So right after the service, I've been around doing my music small. So I would say I started this music thing big time when I completed the service. That was when I was like, okay, I'm now done with. I was there CM, that is Assemblies of God campus, 100 to level 400. Yeah, before I completed.
Wow.
So it's something I've been doing for.
And even at secondary school, were you singing as well?
And we had a singing group like that, like the SU, you know. So the SU had a choir, so I was part of it too.
Okay.
I was the music director too.
Okay, now we see where you want to go, or at least we get a sense of where you want to go. We get a good sense of what you're doing.
Sure.
At which point did you decide to do this? Were you always like this?
Okay,
I mean, do you have, for instance, a past life different from what we are seeing right now?
Not really.
An ex-bad boy.
Oh, no. You know, at times that is, I think most of the people who come to this and then I got saved and I came to, but I come from a strong Christian home. You know, my dad was a very strong Christian. And then I also had an uncle for 9 to 4 band way back. Some years, but when we were young, they used to rehearse in our house. This 9 to 4 band, you know, you see them rehearsing. So interested in what they were doing when we were young. So anytime that they would close the rehearsal and try to. So my uncle realized the thing. So he later told us that, okay, this passion you guys are having, I'll make sure I will introduce you to gospel stuff. You know, I didn't know why, but you know, when we were young, he used to show us clips of Alvin Slaughter, Don Moen, Ron Kenoli, and those people. And he was a music man. So we were introduced to that. So I fell in love with these people at a very young age. So that was when we used to have a junior choir in our church. Yeah, one lady called Sister Sandra. I don't know where she is now, but she started training us, you know, from that age. And then the first time I led song was, I don't know whether you know Yaps about Tampi. Yeah, so I was told to lead I've forgotten the song. I led one of the lines, so that was my first time doing a song in church. So and then I continued. I also joined the Inspirational Youth Choir, the junior choir, which was on KNUST. Yeah, so from there to I joined other groups like Sanctuary of Grace in Kumasi. I lived like most of my life in Kumasi. It's now that I've come to resettle in Accra. Yeah.
Okay, so there's a perception sometimes that, you know, like choir directors or music directors of the various choirs, they usually have a stubborn side. Would you confession? I mean, it's just you and I here.
I know.
It's just you and I at this point.
You know, as I was telling you, I grew up from a strong Christian home, but you know, as human beings, you make certain errors, okay, but that doesn't really, you know, define you in a way, but it rather has to strengthen you, because I'm not an angel, you know, I'm a human being, so definitely I will go wrong as time goes on, but I believe you have to always try and be on track. That is what about so that we will not fall into such temptations, because the more you fall, you know, it becomes very hard to come back.
So how do you usually, or how do you fight temptation usually? I mean, whilst you were performing, it's fine. Wow. So I mean, whilst you were performing, there were quite a few ladies on set right now, and one of them was like, he's very handsome. Wow. You know, some you do have quite, or from time to time, you get a bit of female attraction.
Yeah.
How do you
have a way of fighting these kind of temptations? Okay, I always say something: what you allow is what will continue. Yeah, because if people fall in love with what you are doing, it's not an opportunity to use it to take disadvantage on them or something. You should be able to define your limits. Okay, as in the relationship with the person. If you know where you are going, or let me say, the value you put on what you are doing will determine how you will, you know, go about certain things. If I really value what I'm doing so much, I wouldn't let these things distract me, because I'm focused. As I said, define what I'm doing, and then intent that I'll have to be able to tell myself, okay, I will accept this person, I will not accept this. You know, you have to be able to.
So sometimes you accept them.
I accept them, but to a certain limit. Not asking, you know, as I say, what's
so as a music director, people to are very nice. So she comes up to you, and they like your voice.
Yeah.
You can see clearly that they like you. What would be the overcome this, or do you accept? You say sometimes you accept, or unless
voice. I like okay, give me.
And sometimes you do.
Sometimes I do. Purpose of the number. What kind of relationship are you building? Because you know, I have the perception that I can fall. I'm not an angel, so I have to try
know your weaknesses.
Yes, you know, and then there is no way you tell me if you're a guy and ladies start harassing you and things, you are too spiritual to the extent that you're not open to them. But you have to let grace, you know.
Let grace lead.
Yeah, let grace lead. So there are certain things you shouldn't push further. Okay, because a lot of people fall in love with what I'm doing. At times I go for programs. Oh, I like your voice. I like your details. Oh, thank you so much. Number, and then I will tell you this is the limit I want to go. Times I will not. Number around 11, 12 days you are calling me. I don't know what you want us to discuss, boss.
So maybe prayer.
We will pray, all right, but when they become a certain signal that know where you are going, I believe that you have to take measures strategically that will help you. We don't have a formula for fighting these things, okay, because we are different people. So you just have to strategize and say, okay, let me position. None of us is too far from falling.
Wow. This path you've chosen at some point or beyond the
God, and now maybe I might not be known in the line. All about preparation. Say I'm praying I'll be the first Ghanaian God for Ghana. You know,
it's not
that I used to tell myself I want to go to the level whereby the world will benefit from what I have, not the four corners of my church. So I'm thinking globally, I'm thinking international, I'm thinking, you know, in lives and also impacting people.
Go global.
Yes, please. And we are in the process. You know, it's all about time. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now, on social media, or, you know, how do people usually reach you? In case people want you to come and sing, maybe at their weddings, at their church, you know, anything of the sort?
Well, you just have to, if you're on social media, you can just send me a message on Messenger, or I'll put my number out. Really business, not any other thing there. So you don't need any pressure. On Facebook, I'm Kwame Kwarteng. Just Kwame Kwarteng. On Instagram too, I'm Kwame Kwarteng. And then Twitter too, I'm KwameKwarteng.gh.
Super. I think it's solid like that. So Kwame Kwarteng,
yes,
or
please.
Kwame Kwarteng GH.
You just type Kwame Kwarteng. If you type Kwame, a lot of Kwame will come, because in this music term, we seem to have a lot of Kwame. We have Kwame Zagi, Kwame Eugene, Cham Kwame. So
okay, so Kwame Kwarteng GH.
Yes, please. And we also have some videos too on YouTube. You can also enjoy them. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kwame, for joining us on Breakfast Daily.
For your time.
Okay, do stay tuned to Breakfast Daily, and we shall be reading maybe a few of your messages shortly. Do not go anywhere.
Another day, another week, and we're excited, and we will be talking about all the trending conversations.
Spend 30 minutes every weekday, catch day. If you tweet it, we'll you.
No, Shatta, why are you being so raw and hard like that? But they can still meet again. And Shatta, this time we are about to do. Don't come and do that nonsense. Okay, please, I won't do it. And we'll give respect to each other. But sometimes I feel, you know, when we are all humans. When somebody says something about me, Shatta, hey, no, I might want to say something.
Yeah.
So, but when I say people shouldn't take it like taking things, you know, personal and stuff. I've understood showbiz now, and I really want to work on it. Like
30 minutes is all it takes, so use the hashtag. Join the most interactive.
Welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily. Thank you so much for spending your Monday morning with us. Now I have a bunch of messages.
Yes.
Birthday shout
especially birthday.
Belated happy birthday to Abigail.
Zoe.
No, belated first.
Okay.
Abigail and Ima and Mr. T. Mr. T, we love you all so much. And a big happy birthday to Zoe Abu. Yes. We love you.
Zoe Abubedu. Okay, and there's Fred Asante as well. So happy birthday going out to all of you. So
yes. We wish you a lovely Monday. Make this week productive. We leave you in the hands of Kwame Kwarteng and Bona. Yes, I'm Evan.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So stay tuned to the breakfast. Stay tuned to Breakfast Daily. Stay tuned to Breakfast Daily. But you have to laugh at you about something. You will do that.
Bye.
Anyway. Kwame Kwarteng.
Over to you.
So I would like to do my own song, Signs and Wonders. You can check it out on YouTube. Just you can enjoy. Blessing is my name. Favor is my name. Victory is my name. I'm for signs and wonders. Blessing is your name, and victory is your name. You are for signs and wonders. Oh, 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 you are for signs and wonders. You say, blessing is my name. Let this be your song when you wake up. Favor is my name, and victory is my name. I'm for signs and wonders. Blessing is my name. Favor is my name. And victory, signs and wonders. Oh, I'm for signs and wonders. Oh, I'm for signs and wonders. Oh, I'm for signs and wonders. Oh, everybody must say, I'm for signs and wonders. Signs and wonders. Come on, say, oh, I'm for signs and wonders. You are for signs and wonders. Oh, you are for signs and wonders.